Welcome everyone, and welcome back to All in All United. It was a long 2 weeks, having to endure that international break and the Nations League and all this, international football. It really of much interest to us, in the middle of the domestic campaign and the Champions League and club football on a whole. So it's really good to be back, where we could talk about football, club football actors, we could talk about we team, we could watch games that really matter to us now. I think the international football kind of irrelevant, at least for the fans. I mean, I get that, the countries need to prepare for Euros come July next year. But as far as we as fans concerned, the international break is a kind of waste of time.
Yeah, I find the real water down too, boy. Good night, to all the guys out there. You know what I mean, all the fans, all United fans. Thanks for having us. Yeah, Reeves, but I find that international break get water down, boy, because in that 2 week with they're playing 3 games, which really stretching players, so I find it get watered down and it's not interesting as before. I would have watched the Scotland game a bit because of McTominay, McTominay being a United player. But that's the only kind of game I was really interested in. Other than that, I wasn't interested. Even the Portugal, when Portugal played France and all, I wasn't even interested in that. Knowing that even with a Bruno, with a Pogba, with a Marshall, and even then, they're not much interested in those.
But one of the issues that we seeing happening now with this international break is the players getting injured because you mentioned it just now. Before it used to be 2 friendlies, but now because of the Euros coming up, it have 3 games now that they're trying to fit more games in a shorter space of time, and it making a demand on the players, and you'll find more players getting more susceptible to injuries. Not only that, with all the different traveling, the possibilities of COVID coming into play now. So the risks are, a lot higher for little or small reward as far as the club football is concerned now. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
But to the reason why we're here, Nico, today would have been our first game back from the international break, our first game at home, hoping to get our first win at home this season. And we going up, we went up against lowly West Bromwich Albion. They have not won a game in the league. They're sitting in 18th place. So we fancy chances to get something today, Nico. And I think as fans, knowing the quality that we have, coming off a nice result against Everton, we would have thought that, this would have been, we know no easy games in the league, but we're thinking that this would have been a sort of a walk in the park, What was your thoughts on the game?
Well, first and foremost, as I would have said even before, we played West Brom. Looking at them when they played Tottenham, I know it would have been a difficult game. It would have been a difficult game because of our slow transitions, because of how long we take to move the ball forward, and the moment we would have taken long to move that ball up the field and give them time to restructure and to get back into shape. They would have been a difficult nut to crack. So said, that was the case. However, I think we broke them down enough times. I think where Sam Johnson today he came up big for them. However, I thought that we had some chances. We could have definitely won the game handsomely. However, we was able to come up with the 1 goal, and I guess for the first win of the season, I'll take that gratefully. But I think we are still lucky. We are still lucky in it. We deserve to win. If I really had to say if our team was deserving of the victory, I think it would have definitely been us. However, we'd have loved to have a gloss on the scoreline, but I hope that the guys gain confidence from today's performance.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was expecting a low block, a very defensive West Bromwich team, And even when you look at the formation, they set up with three at the back. Well, the five, with the two wing backs. And it didn't, when you saw the game play out, it didn't look like a two banks of four low block game. It didn't look like a two banks of four low block game. I thought West Brom they were open. They allowed a lot of space, and I thought that with that allowance, we would have capitalized on it a little bit better. We were able to carve open opportunities, but it was just the last ball or the final touch or the final decision that I think was wanting from our players. I don't know if it's sharpness. I don't know if it's because these guys, sometimes with the jet lag, because a lot of them came back from international break. I think Thursday, and I think with the whole COVID test, Ollie was saying when the players came back from international duty, that do COVID test, and the COVID test results normally take 24 hours to come back. Right. So he said that they didn't, the full complement of players didn't really have that time to train properly in preparation for the game. He said their only preparation they had was this morning, so you could tend to say, well, okay, probably, but then with the quality of the players that we had, this is not the first time the team playing together. You would have expected a little more understand, a little more chemistry, a little more gelling, because I saw a lot of misplaced passes today. I saw a lot of misunderstandings today, and it is unlike how a football team is supposed to play, because, just like Man United, Man City, Tottenham, all these other clubs would have had players representing the countries, and they came back, and you didn't really see that disconnect now,
Yeah, I didn't see much of the games today to know exactly how the teams would have fared. The other teams would have fared coming back from the international football. But yes, as you would have said, it's definitely be challenging for the players coming back from international football, even coming from as far as South America. The players like Cavani and Tellez, I think that would have been difficult for them. I think even as you would have said with the amount of the COVID cases going around, players they are fearful, and it's a mental toll also. So it also takes a mental toll on the players. It might affect some more than others. So it's a really challenging time right now. And especially the time to come back into the team, to, as you would have said, to get back working together to really put on a performance that at least the fans would be happy for. Sometimes you may not get that. So I just hoping that today would have been, that jet lag day, or that jet lag, the hangover feeling that would have gotten over today, because some of the decision making, some of the patterns of play, some of the individual performances, you saw the liturgy in the play. So I guess we're hoping that coming in the week, when we go back up against Istanbul, that we could come, we'll be home again. You're putting a performance that we could really be proud of.
And I think, as you say, now we're playing home on Tuesday. I think that's a positive, because a lot of the players would have been traveling a lot over the last couple weeks, So it's good that we don't have to hop a plane to go anywhere, So I think that will work in our favor. We will have more time to train, So in terms of the starting lineup, Nico, we knew that going into this game, we were calling for a little, for some kind of consistency. From the Everton game, we were saying, well, stick with this 11, let's go through, let's build the confidence, let's get the results, and then we go start a chop and change, and so forth and so on. What you thought about the starting lineup today?
I think it was a more or less a straightforward lineup to call. Because when you really look at it in terms of Tellez, well, we know that Shaw was out and Tellez being fit. I think it would have been a natural automatic swap there. Wan-Bissaka not being with the England international team, or not having played international football over the last 2 weeks, so he would have been at the club training. So that would have been a no-brainer, more or less. Maguire, Lindelof again, by coming back. Yes, Tunzebe would have been there, but we know that the cohesion, especially not having a win at home for the season, he would have definitely gone with a strong centre back pairing, which was obvious. I think McTominay playing 120 minutes for Scotland, and then knowing in the week coming up against Istanbul, I could have seen that, McTominay would have been a player again, again. Fred was at the club, right? So Fred would have been fresh. Bruno would that's the talisman, more or less. That's the player to, if he had to win the game, he would have some major part to play. So he would have played. Rashford again didn't go in the England national team, so he would have been recovering from his injury, training. The man, he didn't get much training, as Oli would have said, but he would have still been a bit more fresh. So I think the TNN matter again would have been at the club. So the team, to me, more or less picked itself. But in the future, though, I could see maybe Van der Beek playing in maybe Mata position. Especially, I don't know what's going on with Greenwood, if it's injury, illness, whatever it is, but I could see Van der Beek maybe coming into that position and maybe having filling a gap at that position on that side now, because even today, to me, as much as we know Mata has his creativity, I think there's a physicality and his overall play, it definitely we need an improvement on that side.
Here was my thought, right? Now, I know last review we were talking about consistency and keeping the same team, and I don't really, I still stand by it, but I just thought when I saw how today played out, starting a game with two defensive midfielders against a team that we saw clearly, didn't really pose no threat to really say that we needed to play two players in that position to nullify what. Now, going into the game against Everton, one, Ollie was under pressure. We needed the result, and we knew that Everton were a force to reckon with based on how they started the season and the quality that they had within their team. So I can understand why you would have gone to protect your back four and build from there. But when you look at the team like West Brom, I would have looked at a couple of their games before. They don't really pose that kind of threat. You understand?
After today's performance, you still saying that?
No. But hear what I'm saying. Because I still thought we didn't need to have probably Matic and Fred playing a double pivot. Probably we could have played Fred and Van der Beek. You know what I'm saying? Or even Fred and Bruno, because, and it's something I'm going to come to now. If you look at Bruno's game, Bruno was all over the pitch. And sometimes sometimes when you want that extra player in the attacking third, because remember how West Brom were defending in numbers, even though there were spaces, they were not as compact as a well-disciplined defensive double block. You were still seeing spaces, but there were plenty openings where we didn't have a player there, where you would expect a number 10 to fill. So what I'm saying is, if Bruno wants to be the one to get involved in the game from defense to attack, then let me give you that number 6 role. Let me play you alongside a defensive midfielder. Let you and Fred play there. And let me bring Donny van der Beek inside, where at least we have more attack-minded players on the field to really try to bring in a team that we know not going to really pose any attacking threat. Because Matic came in today, and I've been honest with you, the amount of misplaced passes Matic make, the amount of time I see Matic get skinned out today. You know what I'm saying? It's like, did that really work? Right? Or let me just say, on the other hand, let me just say you brought in Matic because you know on Tuesday you want to give McTominay and Fred that game and you want to, no problem. Then put somebody like, put a disciplined player next to Matic. You understand? But somebody with that attacking, a little more of an attacking mentality now rather than defense first. Because I found that we missed something playing two defensive midfielders against a team that posed no kind of threat. We saw that they got their chances. They got what, probably three or two opportunities today. But two opportunities at goal in 90 minutes don't really justify playing two defensive midfielders. What's your thoughts?
I hear you, and you're sounding good. However, even with the two defensive midfielders we played today, we created more than enough chances to win this game handsomely. You know, and with that extra protection, right? So I think yes, I hear you, and you know what I mean. To me, I especially with the form we started off with, especially at home, I was comfortable with the two defensive midfielders. I think we created enough chances to win the game. I think personally within the team, where you see a lot of panicking. You see a lot of panicking, especially when we don't have the ball. When we don't have the ball and the next team in our attacking, or their attacking third, or their last third, you see a lot of panic stepping in from us. And for every time like the team enter that third of the field, or defensive third, like we just had a panic, and you just see like they could create a chance out of anything, right? And every half chances be falling to them. So I was because I know we don't have that confidence going for us. I was comfortable with the two, and I find that we created enough chances to comfortably win the game with that too. So let me say, even if we scored, let me say first half 2 goals, you know, and then maybe bringing on or taking off a defensive midfielder, bringing on a more attacking player, well, okay. But to me, I was comfortable with having a foundation strong, and then within the game, because even with that extra man, I don't know how much more we would have created to win the game.
No, but what I'm saying,
from what we created.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when you look at where Bruno's position was for large portions of the game, Bruno was not playing in like a number 10. He was roaming, he was in the defensive, he was taking the ball off Maguire. And sometimes when you're looking for the pass, it's because Mata had to try to come into that space. You know? So it leaving gaps now, where if we had a player there, we could have, because even though we create opportunities to win the game, I still think we could have created more. Because remember, you want to create chances after chances after chances. And while we were creating chances, there were only a handful of clear-cut chances. You know?
How confident you are with us defending on the counter? I am not confident with us defending on the counter. No way. I don't trust any of our back four, right? Defending on the counter. And especially that we just played Fred and not Matic. Even worse, I do not have that confidence in us defending on the counter. And you saw even with two defensive, you saw it today.
But all right, let me put it here, Nico. As I was saying, you're redefining Bruno's role. So he's not playing as a number 10, he's playing as a number 6. Right? So Bruno will now know that he has more defensive responsibilities, but he's able to create from deeper. And you have Fred there who will be the engine room. Right? And then now you're bringing the likes of a Van de Beek, who would be the number 10. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Because even you talk about you're fearful of how we defend on the counter. We had Matic there and we had Fred there, and Fred was still, for me, and at least in my opinion, I find Fred was still doing the majority of the defensive work. Because the amount of times Matic gets skinned today, and I go say it again. It's like, and then even going forward, yeah, and then even going forward and all, I don't think Matic was really offering anything to say, well, oh God, well, I'm glad that he played. You know? I've seen some guys on the inside, Nico, so let me get some comments here. All right. So Rudy on the inside, man, he's saying, I don't understand how could Oli have Tellez and have Martial up top. He's saying Cavani is good in the air. I think the issue with Cavani is he readiness for Prem football. I don't know what's your view on it, Nico.
I don't think I could think about also, but I think a start is nearer than we think for him.
Yeah.
Especially coming playing those games in qualifiers. I think that would have taken a toll plus the flying, and I mean he's not the youngest chap. So I think his fitness is improving, of course. So just a matter of time before we might see him, you know what I mean, at least in the middle more.
Yeah. He's also saying Martial is always go too forward. We get that, but we need to show dynamism.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Agree, and I say soon we will see that now.
Okay, so you didn't see the second half. Well, I think really, I suggest you watch the second half because Cavani came on in the second half, right? I don't want to spoil anything for you, so check it out. All right. Well, at least no, because we will get to the second half just now. Simeon saying against West Brom, SMH.
Yeah, I still say don't take none of these things for granted. You know, don't say West Brom and say West Brom is easy food and go out there thinking, well, it's 3 points in the bag. Them teams could surprise you. I watch enough for Premier League football to know that.
And Nicholas on the inside as well. So welcome, Simeon. Thanks for joining. And Nicholas as well. Welcome, man. Thanks for joining. He said this game show always scared and rather play safe rather than play with identity. Not good enough.
Yeah, fair enough. If I was all there, I'd do the same.
I think from a fan perspective, it's, you know, remember we want to see entertaining football. We invest in the club. You know, we're not here to consider, you know, all what Ollie will be considering to try to save his job. We want to be entertained because, you know, football is an outlet for us as fans. You know, and I mean to wait until the whole build up for this game to sit down and you're vexed and strips in after 90 minutes. Sometimes it didn't be worth it now, you know. And then we were still come
But this team draw with Chelsea was leading Chelsea 3-0 at halftime. So even just looking at that, you don't want to take them for granted. You know, you don't want to take them for granted because to me, Chelsea was lucky to come back in that game. Chelsea should have lost that game. You know, so that's on that behalf. I think saying as West Brom was saying that Ollie scared, maybe he is and maybe he should be. You know, so I was comfortable with the two defensive midfielders, knowing that I don't trust our back four, knowing that with players running and it have talented and skillful players on the West Brom team, and we saw that today, right? Running at Fred and Maguire, it would have been real torture. It might have been worse. We was lucky with some of the saves he had made and shots off the post and even the penalty shout. You know, things that definitely went differently. But saying that, I think I was comfortable with the two defensive mids.
Yeah, no. I want to try to clarify the point I was making. You know, I don't have a problem playing a double pivot, but remember when you're playing a defensive-minded player as opposed to, like we say, a number 6 or number 8. Like how we saw for the Sevilla game, we saw Fred and Pogba, right? We know Fred tenacious, so he'll get back, and Pogba is a deep line kind of playmaker.
So we gotta stop saying Pogba had deep line playmaker now. Oh God, I got all the window too.
I still think he could do it because I know.
Because if he want to do it, I don't think he want to do it.
But I talking based on how I saw the team play against Sevilla in the Europa League, right? So that is what I mean when I talked about, you know, going into the game where we know a team not gonna really pose that kind of threat with players who we know have the attacking mindset as opposed to, okay, I just want to break up play against a team that we know not really going to pose much threat for 90 minutes, you know. Nicholas also said, I don't mind if we lose playing our football, but to scam win playing scrappy and disgruntled like we did.
I find it be real tough for them. And I say again, I can't just grateful for the win at this point. Yes, I want to see all free flowing attacking football, but sometimes you just have to take the 3 points and move on. And that was me today. Honestly, that was me today. I was like, great to take that 3 points and move on. Especially knowing that we created enough to win by more.
Nicholas is also saying, is Ole always going to be defeated by the almighty low block with a bag of technical players in the first team? Another interesting point too, Simon is saying, how long do we have to be held ransom by the back four? Just lamenting. And I think what Simon basically saying is we had to keep playing the double pivot, two defensive midfielders to protect the back four now.
Yeah.
But how long we got to do that for?
Well, all you got to make, after you spend 80 million on Maguire and 50 million on Wan-Bissaka, right? Then you got to die by that. You understand? You got to eat and breathe right it.
Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of finding something that's working for now until better could be done. Because I mean, I don't think we gonna have any disputes or we go disagree with the fact that he didn't really get the kind of backing that he wanted for in the transfer window. Because of how we got our next centre back, probably already defensive midfielder, and Jadon Sancho, probably we might have been talking different now.
No, it's true, and I agree. And I saying if we really had that quality, then I would have questioned why Oli playing two. Why are they playing two defensive midfielder? But I know we don't have the quality in the back, and I know the back four have real holes in it, right? So that is why I comfortable with that back with playing two defensive mids, because I know how weak we are, especially on the counter when we started run with our players running at the players you have in the back there with skillful players. I know it's trouble.
Yeah. Nicholas saying, because I'm tired of the excuses for Ole. We sacked Jose and he did more for the team. I
agree with that one. I agree with that.
I ain't sure, because he came out and
spoke. I'm taking Ole over Jose any day.
Yeah, I think what people doing, Nico, is people watching how Tottenham playing and thinking that we probably rush it now. But I stand by the decision to let Jose go. I think the circumstances at Man United probably it wasn't right for Jose. Jose is the type of manager that needs the kind of support from the board in terms of spending to get where he wants. So probably it was not a good match. All along, Jose, it would always be toxic, because Jose is the type of person that if things not going his way, he just turn on people, and we saw it happen last season with Tottenham, Let's go ahead.
Yeah, that's Sono injured. Sono or King get injured, and you go see what's gonna happen in Tottenham. You go see how miserable Jose gonna get.
He said not at all. He said Jose finished second with our Europa League. Ole got third because of individual brilliance. I don't think he'll say how Ole would have gotten third. I don't think he can really attribute that to individual brilliance. I thought the back end of last season was a real team game. We saw the team gel. We saw players step up, and it had a different feel about the team and how we were playing. Yes, you will have individuals stepping up. Bruno step up. Bruno also raise the levels of others around him. So I wouldn't really say individual brilliance. So I think Oli deserves a little more credit than you're actually giving him. I think right now what's going on is we really not seeing the kind of consistency that we want from the team. I don't know, and that is where my issues are. I want to see a little more consistency. I can't take one day we blowing hot, next day we blowing cold, and it's like I can't explain why. If we go back, we had a real good performance against Leipzig.
Okay, Leipzig, right?
And then we came and we lost against Arsenal, and then we lost against Başakşehir. So that's the kind of inconsistencies we're talking about. That we want to see a little more. But I think we've seen a lot of good things under Oli.
I read yes, we saw even after the Arsenal and to me complacency would have cost us the Istanbul game. We bounced back with two victories. I think it's two victories back to back. I think even in the week, you know, I mean, we should be able to extend that. I think that's about getting the confidence back up, you know, getting that cohesiveness back into the team. And I think we will see some positive performances going forward from the team.
Yeah, yeah. Nicholas said, I never said we shouldn't sack him. We need to sack Oli with the same energy. I think, you know, I think the difference between Oli and Jose is at the point when I don't think the when we sacked Jose, it was necessarily only performance related. I
Yeah,
think I think Jose had gotten toxic and it was affecting the club. If
yeah.
if Jose wasn't toxic, you know, I don't think he would have
They
gotten.
are back him. Yeah, they are back him.
They would have backed him, but it's because
Yeah,
he turned on the board
yeah.
and he turned on his players and he was getting very very toxic. And then obviously the players, the results would have have an impact on it.
Yeah.
And I think that is what ultimately cost Jose, not necessarily the bad results, because Oli experiencing a lot of what Jose experienced in terms of the backing of the board, but never have I seen Oli turn on the board. Never have I seen Oli criticize his players in public. Never have I seen him hang his players out to dry. You know? So I think if in this period that Oli in right now, if he had turned on his players or if he had turned on the board, Oli would get neck boss long time. You
Exactly.
know? So I
Yeah.
think that is so the same energy don't really I don't think it really apply in Ramdas, if you understand what I'm saying. Um, we were continuous crap till we got Bruno in January and Pogba and Rashford came back off injury, individual brilliance. And he's also saying also the league last season was poor, so he had all the more reason to grab third.
All right, well, you have all your agenda. You know, so Maguire agenda, you know. That's how you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, if you like Oli, well, you know, I mean, all respect. But I honestly think that he's a bit of a chance. You know, I think we're still really going through our rebuilding phase. Yes, we see a lot of flaws in his decision making. You know, we see a lot of times where his substitutions questionable, where his teams selection are questionable. Um, but still, to me, he is still learning his craft. And I know you will say that, oh gosh, you know, when we was losing Oli out and, you know, two victories and Oli in. But honestly, I think he deserve more backing from even the fan base and the board.
2 years is a real chance, you say. But I mean, I think over the 2 year period, Ramdas, I think he would have vindicated his appointment. You know, especially when you look at last season in the whole. You know, he went through the season, he beat all the top six teams. Some of them he beat them twice. You know, he played and for
Chelsea,
large
I think
portions,
we beat Chelsea 3 times.
yeah, and for large portions he played without his full strength team, without the Pogbas, without the Rashford, without the Martials. You know, I think the boost when Bruno came would have benefited any other manager as well. You know, any manager will benefit when a player come in and he lift the spirits in the team. So I mean, you can't really say, well, it's only Oli would benefit. I'm sure if our next manager was there, he would have benefited as well. And then how we finished last season, from what we endured, even though you say last season was a crap season, it's still a season where teams, you know, we at least we were the third best of the worst, you
Right.
know. I just think to be I'm saying that are we going to be we savior and you're going to take us to Champions League and Premiership glory. But I think for this rebuilding phase, we need a little more stability, and I think we see enough from Oli, you know. Let's see how it goes, and if the results continue to to go downhill, then it's only obvious that the axe will fall, you know.
Yeah.
So I disagree. He's been very, very lucky. He's had his moments, but he's not good enough for the manager of Man United. Based on expectations and who we've had before, that's a fair point, you know. But let's see how it goes.
Reeves, I don't know what going with Bruno, but it's a good thing Sam Johnson stepped off his line today. Like he losing that penalty mojo. Like I don't know if his confidence taking a hit because the microscope was on him. He got all kind of fancy names in terms of penalties. Jose would have said he only see Bruno in the game when he reached that 12-meter spot. So I don't know if all of that would have have an impact on him. Maybe even goalkeepers understanding him or psyching him out. Would have looked at a lot of his tapes. Have a better understanding of maybe the side he would choose. But for some reason, again, a bit nervy now when Bruno step up.
I don't know if I'll remember. I can't remember which review it was. Simeon had made the point. I think Callum was on the inside as well. Simeon had asked the question: if you think the fact that we have one designated penalty taker, it will make it easier for keepers to study with penalty taker. And I remember I didn't back him on that question, but yourself and Callum was saying, different clubs have one penalty taker, so it doesn't matter. But we see it now where sometimes your style and for me, football games so technical and so advanced that the goalkeeper is not the only one studying you and analyzing you. You have nerds sitting behind computers and they're advising the goalkeepers.
Yeah, of course.
You understand? So I think so it come back now, and I really think it's something that we had even Ollie had to consider, because Bruno, this is like the fourth penalty in a row Bruno missed. If not for the keeper stepping off the line and giving him a shot at it.
Yeah.
So it's something that Bruno had to just back and reconsider, rethink how he approaching his penalties. Probably that hop and step thing get figured out, and he should just go and blast at them now, or even take a step back and let Rashford go at them, because we know before Bruno, Rashford used to beat them. So.
And then Tellez is a specialist in penalties also.
And Tellez is our next one. So I think because if you have a point where the keeper goes stand the ground, he goes stay on the line and he goes save it.
Yeah, of course.
Because saying he's gradually getting worse. Wan-Bissaka, same thing. Watch me. Here I tell you. You see Wan-Bissaka?
As I was telling before, Reeves, I find today, yes, I know when we see the players like the Ben Chilwells and etc. going forward, and then we come and watch Wan-Bissaka, we like, gosh, this is Man United best, right? It was really shaky head. But today, for some reason, from the bit I saw, I was kind of he was a little better than the past few games. No, all my shit down, and I'm taking that. But he's so poor going forward that he has a few touches that I say, what? He had that? I say, wait, no, Wan-Bissaka had that thing, look, boy, all right. And maybe, I was overwhelmed, that's like that now. But still, he just not good enough for a United player going forward.
I telling you, I am certain, Nico, if his tenure as a left back could be dependent on Ollie's tenure. Because if today or tomorrow, as a right back, sorry, if today or tomorrow Ollie is no longer the manager of Manchester United, and we have a manager that's coming in who wants his wing backs to be, to provide that kind of attacking support, and you're looking at quality attacking support, because you call a couple names before. We talk about Chilwell, you talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, even Lampard, who was real good today for Brighton, right? When you look at these kind of players and then you watch Wan-Bissaka going forward, he's leaving a lot to be desired, and especially when you're talking about Manchester United. We're not talking about Crystal Palace again.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how to say you as a winger, but
It
hey!
has no way. It has no way I am accepting that Wan-Bissaka was a winger before he was converted to star. I'm telling you.
What's the he can I make the pro league as a winger? Why telling you? Because has some men who play pro league as a winger and the real quality.
Yeah.
Peltier and the first name is real talent.
Yeah, I tell you. But I think Nicholas on his first comment, he was saying he's gradually getting worse. I think he was talking about Bruno. You think Bruno quality dropping? What you think about Bruno?
You see, just as you would have said, right? Because it have so much technocrats studying players now, right? That and the might have a lot of international players who are intelligent, almost the same. So these technocrats or these advisors would tell them, all right, these are Bruno's habits. And habits is something he does do over and over without thinking about it. And football is a sport like that. You don't have much time to think other than they were exceptional players, right? So most of the time, you would do the same thing over and over. If you look at Rashford is the easiest man to mark, right? Because you're doing the same thing over and over and over, right? So in terms of Bruno now had to step back and let's continue to develop his game. You know, I think what he would have came with, I think he kind of get make out, you know, and defenders, midfielders would have been advised, okay, this is how to play Bruno. You know, most of the time, this is what he's going to do, this is what he's going to do. And it's Bruno now who have to improve and to develop his game. You know, add to what you brought. And that element of surprise now is what will take it back up a notch. You know, if you continue the same thing, then you'll get figured out and you look just like everybody else. But you have to continue to develop your game and bring that element of surprise that defenders and defensive players who pull man marking you're not looking for. And that is where he would step up. For now, yes, I would say that he maked out a bit, but he's still the creative force in our team. He's still the when Manchester United win a game, most likely Bruno win the game for them. You know, he's still that player. I think he's still bringing that quality. Even if you look at the touch that he gave Marshall today, that to me Marshall should have scored, right? It's quality now. You know, and that touch it in itself is quality. So I think he still has the quality. It's just he has to continue to develop and bring that element of surprise that defenders not looking for.
What I also, to add to that, and I fully agree with that, what I also think has to happen is, and it's something that we talked about before. You remember when we had Pogba and everything used to go through Pogba, and we were saying we need more game changers in the team. We need the opposition to be thinking, well, if not Bruno, then it's Pogba, so we can't focus everything on Bruno. You know? So I think what we also need to do, and this is I am always for the 4-3-3 single defensive midfielder with 2 8s. I am saying if let me just say Pogba is not the answer, right? And we're bringing in somebody else, I want somebody else to come in and play higher up the pitch with Bruno. So we have now it'll be difficult for them to, even if like we said, they figure out Bruno, while Bruno evolving and developing, they still have to think about this other number 8 who we have, who just as effective or even better than Bruno at some things. Then Bruno might be good at snap passing, shots from long. This next number 8 might be better at dribbling, or certain things like that now. Because right now everything going through Bruno, and you go bottleneck at a point in time, and then you'll have a problem with the creativity. So I'm saying, here's what we need to find somebody. I'm thinking that the answer is Pogba. That's what I'm saying. We drop the ball with the defensive midfielder in the summer. If we get 2 players playing in that advanced position with the abilities of the likes of Pogba and Bruno, then you're giving Bruno more space and more freedom to do stuff. But then and I say it again, if Bruno is the only outlet, then it's gonna be easy to figure him out, and it's gonna be easy for a team to counteract him, you know? So Nicholas is also saying, but also people don't realize Bruno's hop is purposeful. He makes them leave their line in case they save it, so it's essential. He's not missing it. He has an insurance policy most times. Well, I don't know if that's intentional, but if you say so, I'm not sure. I mean, if Bruno going that far to miss a penalty just to get next one, I don't know. He said, I disagree.
Yeah, I don't think intentionally missing to get another one, but luckily, I think it just happened. Luckily, that players with delay coming off the line and he get another one, but he had to score them thing. He had to score them thing.
Yeah. Nicholas also said he said disagree. Wan-Bissaka will be good as he was when he gets a competent coach like he had before he come under Oli.
Nah.
Nah, the reason why he was Spider-Man. Anyway, you take that one, Nico.
No, I mean, remember United different. United has different qualities that come to the fore. Because we would have the ball so much, we'd be bossing possession majority of the times. Then, of course, you had to show that attacking quality. At Crystal Palace, he would have been defending for his life most of the times. And he would have been defending for his life well. And that was the premise he was bought on. He was bought on the premise of he's a good defender, not a good attacker, because he had no reason to be really attacking. The only time we really saw Wan-Bissaka, and I would have told Reeves even from before, and the little time I would have looked at him, is that he had a lot of gaps going forward. But he was excellent defending. At United, you would be defending less, attacking more. And I think now that is where his weaknesses are showing up and glaring.
Yeah. Also, it has some fundamental basic things in a footballer you would know that they have and they don't have. So I mean, I'm not saying that he can't get better, but it has certain things that just that is where you'll get.
Yeah, coordination for one. But here how he could get better. He could get better with my Crystal Palace. You understand? Because when he go to Crystal Palace, he will be doing defending most of the time, and he will say, "Wait, did he say Wan-Bissaka was at United?" But he doing what he's doing what he's strong at doing, which is defending. Right? At United, how much defending you really have to do? Is more attacking than the moment you go back to a small team. Right? Then you go say, wait, did he say Wan-Bissaka? And you go think he's one of the best defenders in the world, which maybe he is, but he's definitely not one of the best attackers.
Yeah. And so on last season, some of the best games where Bissaka would have received all the praise, were the games when we were playing strict counter-attacking football. We'd have played against Liverpool, we'd have played against Man City, where he had Sterling in the pocket. Those are the games where Bissaka does excel. But anytime our team sit back, low block, and we require that kind of quality going forward, because the wing back's supposed to provide that kind of width, we just really see the shortcomings from Bissaka there, because I mean his crossing is not the best, and then try to get past the defender to get the cross inside the box. Sometimes it's a hit and miss, or I should say most times it's a hit and miss. We would look at, and I mean, you'd look at the goal he scored against Newcastle. Yeah, the Rockets. Why people were shocked when he scored? Why people not shocked when Martial scoring them kind of goals, or when Bruno scoring them kind of goals? It's because we know them fellas capable of them kind of things. If Tellers were to score a rocket like that, we'll be like, well, he always scoring them kind of goals. So I mean, I don't want to be overly critical on Wan-Bissaka. But I just saying, going forward, I think if we get a new manager, he might be one to lose out. Simeon saying, I just feel like with the good United teams, not the great ones, they either had a great defense or a great set of strikers that made the most of slim pickings. That's a good point. He said defense is a mess forcing offense to be world class. That's a good point. Bruno has to create magic every time he gets on the field. Sometimes you just get baby powder. Who else lifting up the header and picking out people? That's a brilliant comment, Simeon. That's a very, very good comment.
Yeah.
I don't think anything needs to be added to that, but it's a fact. Right now the team lacking that kind of quality. But I don't know, Nico, based on your point there, if the fact that football evolved so much now that you need a better overall balance.
Yeah, I honestly believe so. I think if you look at most teams now, most teams have a lot of technical players all over the field. Long ago, you would say, well, he could defend real good. They say Yapstam. Yapstam is a real good defender, right? But look at how players evolve. Look at Van Dijk now. Van Dijk is an excellent defender, but he's also excellent going forward. He's also excellent on the ball. He's also excellent passing. So I think football in itself, even if you look at, I was looking at some videos even on the strike squad, right? And the anatomy of players, the physiology and the body of players is totally different now to what it was from before. So to me, football has really developed and evolved. I think players in itself has evolved. I think players now are more like track athletes than footballers. Because long time footballers used to have big legs and big upper body, and all that changed now. Footballers are more dynamic kind of aesthetic player people now. So I think football definitely has evolved.
Yeah. I don't know if I get this one in before. Because saying, so how does it make sense to buy an excellent defender and tell him he's trash because he can't go forward? I think the what, and we were talking about the evolution of the game, Ramdas. The evolution of the game now requires, especially as a team that want to possess the ball and build the football from the back, that defending, yes, while it's a primary responsibility, you're also required now to go forward. Look, Nico was making a reference to Van Dijk. A defender primary responsibility is to defend, right? But we see now where it's useful, and it's benefiting the team. If he could possess the ball, he could carry it forward and he could even pass from deep, So it's all about the evolution of football and how you want to look at it. A defender don't just stand up and just kick out the ball again. We want more from defensive players. All over the field. We asking the attackers to defend too. So why defenders can be,
Because if even at the game today, Maguire, one of the chances, I think that was one of the chances, the clear chances we created, Maguire would have won the ball deep, come forward with it. And I think when he played it to Bruno or somebody, and that's where we created the chance, or tell us on the left side, that way we created a clear-cut chance where we should have scored. I think long ago, by the time the defender got that ball, he'd have passed off that ball one time to the closest man he see. He had to get a pass off that ball immediately.
Yeah.
I think it kind of the football changed now. Everybody, especially at that level, playing for Manchester United, and one of the top teams in the world, they had to have that technical ability, front and back.
Yeah. He's saying we're asking players to play out of position rather than play a formation that suits the team. Crazy. I think I agree with your point. I agree with your comment to the extent that we probably not the players that we bought isn't suited to how we want to play. So if I were to comment on that, then probably we should not buy Wan-Bissaka.
I said that in the earliest.
He's saying, I disagree, bro. You play to the strength of your team and not to the strength of whatever system is popular. And that goes back to identity. If what you guys are saying is right and we had identity, we would, and that is correct. And I agree with you there, because when Oli bought Wan-Bissaka, me and Nico, we were shouting for Ricardo Pereira from is Leicester?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we knew that at some point we wanted to, the kind of football we would have wanted to play would have required a player with that kind of ability. You know, so I fully agree with you, Ramdas.
Yeah,
I think, and we could go back to even Maguire, because you want to play possession football where our line will be high, but yet Maguire slow.
yeah.
You know, so
I guess that where the point will come back to Oli not good enough, right? Because Oli would have been the person to make those purchases when he would have known the type of football he wants to play. Right? And those two buys doesn't suit the type of football they want to play. And then the amount of money you pay for them to, it don't even suit. You know what I mean? The style of football you want to play. So I can understand it. You want to play a style of football, and these are the type of players to play that type of football. You pay that amount of money. But the money we pay for players who not even suit the type of football, then I think Oli would have gone wrong there.
Yeah. Simeon is saying, to expand on my point, we call Bissaka a good defender, but his positioning is always off when crosses come in. Hey, watch man, that's a serious point.
Yeah, no, but he just can't jump. To be his positioning good enough, but he just can't jump. If he cannot jump, he would have defended most of those crosses, because I can't remember the one Bissaka defending a cross ever.
But I do think that those are things they could coach.
Right.
You know, though position being, positionally aware. You know, that I think those are things that they could coach.
Yeah.
So, but Wan-Bissaka, he's a good tackler, Simeon. He is good at tackling 1v1. You know, but in terms of positioning, and then too, sometimes remember we just always talk about how casual his approach, he's run out, he's come out, But I think those are things that they could coach. So defensively, I'm not that fearful. I mean, sometimes I'd be a little bit frustrated with him, but I think he could develop and learn in those areas, Iron Lion, welcome, man. Good night. He said we have the players to play different formations, but the coach has to know how to play them together. And I don't think we could dispute that, right? As Nico would have mentioned earlier, it's something that Oli still learning. Whether he'll get the time to learn to do it, we hope he does. And I think I think he's earned the time, to do it. It's just a matter of seeing how much of it he could do, because we've seen him. So he tried the
diamond.
The diamond. He tried the 5-3-2, and we've seen all of them work, and we've seen all of them fail.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the team. Sometimes it's the team too, because I mean, I know me and Nico, we were back and forth on it with the Basakshire game as to who was responsible, and sometimes the players have to take responsibility, Maguire too easy. I could beat on slab head whole day.
So, people, there's one Maguire on one position. People in that pretty much licking the chops to get Maguire one-on-one.
True that.
But you ever see that really happen? Get Maguire one-on-one? It is no. Anytime they catch him in one-on-one, he get beat for sure. But you just see that he always have cover to protect him in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah. He said, but now you're all seeing my frustrations because I'm looking at the team and the tactics.
Yeah, I could feel it definitely.
Iron Lion saying sometimes it's the team, but only recently Oli started going on the touchline. Normally he will sit in his stand all game. Yeah, so we actually seen more of Oli on the sidelines. I think a lot of fans were clamoring for that. For me, it doesn't matter. I believe a manager would give instructions. I don't believe a manager needs to be on the touchline barking all the time, because even before, when people were having an issue about it, I would see, ever so often Oli would run down to the touchline and he would give instructions and he would go back. So I didn't really have an issue with Oli sitting in the stands, because when he's there, Phelan and Carrick, would be in the technical area. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about it, Nico.
I think that is not his demeanor. I think that is not his personality. Sometimes he would do it, but it just is not him now. You know, I think he maybe can't express himself how he may want to, you know, on the touchline. But to me, it doesn't look like that is his demeanor. If he could bring it into his game, and maybe it being effective, because even when Albion touchline, it don't seem like it does really be effective. You know, but I think it have people who could maybe do that role and get the point across.
But you think it necessary? You think it necessary? I mean, because when
being around football a lot, you know, refereeing games, sometimes it'll make a difference. Sometimes it make a difference when a coach comes to the touchline and start to back instructions, because a lot of the times players be seeing the game in a silo now, where the coach will be seeing the bigger picture, and sometimes coming to the touchline and, you know, just giving the extra instruction, because they will be seeing the entire game. You know, sometimes it helps. You know, sometimes you would have given instructions during the halftime or before the game, but sometimes things had to change. You know, and your voice, you know, does help players to see something different than what they would have been seeing in the game now. So sometimes it helps. You know,
right.
and then sometimes again, you know.
Right, but I think, but my point is, does the manager need to be the one on the touchline barking? Because we've seen where Phelan would be the one on the sidelines. He'll be talking. He always talking, because when I watch the games, I watch the version without the fan song, so I'm able to hear what actually going on the field now, right? And I would be hearing Phelan. I would hear Carrick sometimes. You know, so I'm asking, is it necessary that Ollie is the one on the touchline all the time barking? Because Ollie will go down sometimes, he will say something, he'll give instructions, and he'll go back. But people seem to think that the manager needs to be there barking like how Antonio Conte is, to which I find was very annoying. And even me as a player, you spoke from a referee point of view, but even me as a player, I don't have a problem with my coach giving instructions. But there's also the point where instructions were given in the dressing room where you all know what you're supposed to do. And I will come and say, well, hey, no, legal, so, ting, and then I will go back in my dugout and I'll sit down, because I already gave the play. I'd have to coach the players on the field, you know? So
then you see things differently when you're on the bench, especially how to break down the team now. So when you might have given instruction before, you would have seen a loophole or a gap where you could exploit, you know? So in terms of that, even in the Pro League here, you would have seen, let me say, like double connection. Ja might have take first half, give an instruction, and then the second half, you might have seen Stuart Charles, you know, but somebody would have always been there. And so it didn't have to be the coach alone, you know, somebody else, assistant coach, you know, would have been given instruction, but always had somebody there, the players, to let them know that, hey, you know what I mean? Let's give an instruction, reminding them, you know, giving them the tactics as they go along.
Yeah. So I think as Nico said, you know, it's probably not in his personality, you know, but I think you do see it sometimes. I just don't think he's the Antonio Conte type who will be there barking right through, you know. But I think I understand what the fans want to see in the manager now, you know. Simeon saying too many weaknesses, too easy to plan against Man United as a team, and as individuals. I'm not a football intellect, but oh gosh, and it's true. You know, I think the fact that the team inconsistent, the fact that there's a heavy dependence on individuals. I'm not saying that's how that's everything about the team, because I do see, you know, patterns at play, but sometimes when instructions aren't followed, you know, it is always fall back on individuals having to step up and do magic now, you know. So yeah. So I guess that would bring us to the end of the review today, guys. Thanks for the comments, thanks for all the views. You know, continue to like it. We had some views, but only seen one like. I'll help you out now. You know, we'll be here again on Tuesday, Nico, to review the Basakshire game. And I think that will be a very, very important game to win, you know, because We need to get our 9 points. Because I'm not traveling away to Leipzig, and then PSG coming back here wouldn't be as easy as the first 2 games.
True.
You know, so I think we should try our best without taking Başakşehir for granted. I think we really need to get 3 points against the Turkish side on Tuesday, and look for at least a point each against for the least.
Yeah.
And Leipzig waiting.
Of course, I think if we do that, I think we might be into the second round.
Yeah. So what we'll do for the review on Tuesday, we'll try to get one of you all on the inside with us. So you can feel free to shoot my message if you're interested, right? And we'll see if we could get some of you all on the inside for the review on Tuesday, right? I online saying when you're going live, tag me. And okay. All right, so we appreciate that.
I think definitely if you like the page also, most of the time before we go live, we would post it.
Yeah, and we normally share it in Must as well, So so once you get the updates after every game, we always on 9 o'clock, right? So if you could get more fellas on the inside, more people, girls, gals, all those Man United fans, we appreciate it, man. Thanks much for that. Simon saying they go score 8 goals just because we bad talk Oli. I'm telling you, you remember, Nico, when I say it'll be hard to bad talk these fellas because I'm always make you put your foot in your mouth.
Of course, yeah, I can remember that.
So let me bad talk them, Anyway, guys, thanks for joining. This has been All in All United match reaction for the narrow win, the disappointing win. But a win nonetheless, 3 points takes us into 9th.
First home win for the season.
And the first home win for the season. So let's hope that this could kick on a run, Let me hope people go on a run. Because I think if a 5-game run, Nico, hope we in good stead,
Yeah, of course. And we have a game in hand, even if we win, and if we win that game in hand also. So we'll be in a position.
Yeah. So let's just hope that the win will get them for us that kind of boost, and the performances will follow. Because as United fans, we want to win, but we want to win in style, So, guys, thanks again for joining. We appreciate all the comments, we appreciate the likes, we appreciate the shares, because we know we want to get the content out. Also, check us on YouTube. We want to build our platform as well, right? Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.